Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Romeo here with another quick update on this device here, the Samsung Galaxy Fold 3. Now, first time I did the video on this, it was just a quick unboxing, and I said I'd be back in a few days. It's been more than a few days now, and I just want to give you guys a quick update on what I think of the phone. So, cutting straight to the chase, this as a phone, keep getting dog hair on it, sorry guys. This as a phone sucks. It sucks as a phone because when you want to use your phone, you know, you're not always thinking about opening up, yada, yada, yada. You just want to use it here, right? The problem is using it from this screen here. It is so narrow. And if you have big hands, this is like going back to the iPhone, what was it, like the iPhone 5 that first came out. And let me just open this up real quick. You know, if I open up a blank, I'm just trying to open up a quick text message here, right? Look how small this keyboard is. Like trying to type on this, you know, if you're doing one-handed swipe gestures, you know, it's not very accurate at all. One-handed swipe. You know, it gets a little cumbersome because my hands are big, so my fingers overreach. So having to pull my finger back halfway across this way and hold it like this, you know, the phone's a little bit heavy, yada, yada, yada. But we all know that already. So one of the biggest gripes that I had with this phone when I first got it was that I had the Samsung flip case that came with it, right? And whenever you opened it this way, the case would stick out like this. So trying to hold the phone with half the case sticking out was a horror story. It was good because it held the S Pen. It was one of the very few cases that held the S Pen in the back. So, you know, I dealt with it for about a week with that. But then eventually I just gave up. And what I did was I went to the Verizon store, and I was in desperation, and I never buy anything from a carrier store. This is my son, by the way. I never go anywhere to buy anything from a carrier store, but I was so desperate for a case. Nobody else had them because they came out, nowhere in the mall, no Best Buy, nothing. So Verizon had a few, and I got this one. This one wasn't my first choice. The first one that I got from them was a clear case, very similar to this, but it was like a very thin see-through case on both sides. It was nice because it looked like glass, but there was no adhesive strip on the inside. So when I put it on, you know, this side was staying on fine because it, like, the camera clipped it in, but this side was just coming off like whenever it felt like it. So I went back in the store and I got this one. So what you're seeing here is a hybrid between the Samsung case that I got rid of and this Urban Armor Gear case from the Verizon store. So what I did was I cut the pen holder off of that other case. So the other case, this whole holder slid out, and on the underside of it was a little like a railing, like a slot that went into the case that held it on. I cut that off with a razor so that it was flat, and then I took it and I crazy glued it to this case here, and it's holding up very well. I actually like it very much like this. I wish that cases would just come this way. As I'm holding it, you know, I can kind of grip my fingers around the back, or if I'm holding it this way, my finger kind of rests here and it helps me hold the phone up, like kind of like a pop-up thing would, you know. The biggest problem with this is when I'm in the car, putting it in a car holder, you know, none of them are going to be this deep. So I have to try to source a tablet holder that can hold it this way, you know. So I'm still on the lookout for one of those. I have one on my cart at Amazon. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. So another issue that I had with this phone was typing, okay? So when I was typing on the Samsung keyboard was so horrible. I just did not get along with it. I know people are probably going to say it's fine or I don't have a problem with it. Whatever, your mileage may vary. My issue was that it was not very accurate. It was changing a lot of the words that I was typing, and I'm sitting there going, I know I'm not crazy. I'm not like a new jack with big phones. I've had, you know, the BlackBerry Passport that I had a wide 3-row keyboard and whatnot. So I'm used to big screens. I know I have big hands, but still. I switched to the G board, and it's so much better. The keyboard is not as you can't resize it to all the infinite sizes of the Samsung keyboard, but the choices that you do have within it fit me very well. I was able to increase my accuracy to the point where if there were no other keyboards other than the Samsung one, I would have been sending this phone back because it was already frustrating me, you know, getting used to this form factor. Now that I've gotten the case that I like, now that I found the keyboard that I like, now I think the phone is a keeper. But for how long is the big question. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this as my main device. I'm coming from an iPhone 12 Pro Max. My son, he's 10 years old. He has an iPhone, so there's a lot of, you know, cool things with iPhones that you can do. You can track, I can track where he is. I still have it as on my second line, the iPhone, but so I mean, you know, if I did need to keep up with him, I can just, you know, look at that. But having to carry the two phones around, I'm really starting to enjoy using this phone as my main phone. Again, having to deal with not having iOS, not having iMessage, the integration of the Apple Watch. You know, right now I'm using my Gear 3 watch, and it's a couple of years old now, and it's still holding up fine. It does everything I needed to do. I don't long for a newer Galaxy Watch. I don't see that there's that much improvement between this series of watches and the new ones to justify. If I were able to get a new watch, I would get one that had cellular connectivity. That's the only thing I'm missing. Other than that, this is good. Another gripe that I had with this phone was the fact that it didn't have a native music player. I was trying to use YouTube Music, and it was like buffering. Like I downloaded music to the phone, so it's not like I had it, you know, streaming from a cloud service of some sort, and it was like buffering, trying to pull up the song. Let me see if I can pull it up now. YouTube Music. See if I can get it to do what it was doing. Okay, not now. So my library, my downloads. Nope. Library, songs. So I'm just going to see, look, device files, nothing's coming up. Meanwhile, I've got like 400 songs on this thing. I don't know why nothing's coming up, why it's not pulling up. There's no SD card to read from, so there's no corruption getting in the way. There is music on this phone. I don't know why. I don't know why this is not pulling up, but it's kind of like hit or miss. You know, I would go back, albums, I don't know. I'm just trying different things now. I don't know why there's no device files here. So I had to download another music player. Let me just play with this a few more times. Okay, so now my device files are coming up, okay? But you see, it shouldn't have had to go through that. I don't know why there isn't a dedicated music player. I don't know why they took out the Google Play Music that was working somewhat decently. But look, now I go into songs and there's no device files. I go into artists, and look, what is this? What is this? This is horrible. Albums. I'm trying to look through the freaking songs that I have on my device. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just trying to give you an example. Hopefully I don't get a copyright of how, okay, now it's turning on fine, the song. But before, when I clicked on library and songs, there were songs there, and then when I would choose one, it was doing what it was doing now, like searching. And I was like, I don't understand. So it shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have to go to artists to pull up a song. All the songs were dragged over from my Mac, which is an old Mac, but still. And that's another thing I'm not fond of. I'm not fond of having to use Android file transfer, an app. You know, I can't just, you know, plug this into a Mac. I don't know if that's Mac's fault or if it's Samsung or Android or Google's fault. while you just can't plug this in and it recognizes it as a hard drive and I can just drag stuff over like a thumb drive. You know, I don't know what the deal is, but it's very annoying. So here, device files. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so now it's pulling up, but before I was able to have these songs in my library under songs and there's nothing there. Anyway, this was very frustrating. So I downloaded, I think I downloaded Samsung Music Player. Let me see if I can find it. Here you go, Samsung Music, right? Look, tracks here. All my tracks are here. Look how quickly I pulled that up. No, okay, no hesitation. Why are the tracks here, but in YouTube Music was not able to pull it up? So frustrating. So it just seems like there's still a lot of bugs to sort out with this phone. The form factor, I really don't have a problem with. I mean, I'm getting used to typing like this. Here, it's only like, you know, I would only use this like if I'm at a stoplight or something and I gotta quickly, you know, pick this up, swipe a message and then go back. But again, because your fingers can't really get to the edge of the screen because I have a, you know, a raised edge, I can't really get to that letter that's all the way at the edge, you know, which can be frustrating. The cameras, I'm finding that the cameras are a little bit washed out. They're not terrible, but they're just not quite up to par. Let me see if I can pull up the camera. They're not quite up to par with, you know, the new phones that are out. You know, I'll just take a picture of this table, you know, and already you can see like this is looking like from where I'm looking at now, this looks darker than this, you know? So let's say I take a picture of it and I pull it up and to me, it just looks washed. It looks, you know, the color's not there as much, you know? Maybe I can play with settings. Maybe I can do a couple of things. I don't know. Camera's not really a huge deal to me. I'm not trying to like, you know, make artistic photos and whatnot with this phone, but it would be nice for $1,800 that you get a camera that's competitive with everything else, you know? I am going to miss the Note 20 Ultra 5G that I'm trading in for this. You know, the candy bar form factor is just a very simple one. What I am not going to miss from the Note 20 Ultra is having to use that little skinny S Pen. That S Pen that's on that Note, if you have big hands, it's like it's like trying to write with a toothpick. It's so annoying, you know, but this, you know, it feels like a real pencil, you know, you can write and be comfortable, you know, whereas before, you know, the Note 20 Ultra, you know, your screen is probably about this big and you can write like 1 or 2 words before you run out of space and then you got to go down to the next line. I could almost get a full sentence here. So this, you know, it's a way better form factor as far as S Pen usage is concerned. I find myself taking more notes lately if I want to just jot something down and then, I don't know, maybe put it on my calendar later or put it on my phone book later. Overall, you know, I'm still getting used to being on Android. I used to be a big Android person before I moved to iOS, and I used to just bounce back and forth. But then after my son got his phone and everything he does is on Apple, on iOS, also I have like a parental thing where he has to send me a permission thing to download an app or to do certain things. You know, I have parental control over that. I don't have the same type of parental control going from Android to iOS. So that's something for me to get used to. But overall, I'm generally happy with the phone. The case and the keyboard that I switched were deal breakers to me. If it wasn't for those 2 things, I would be sending I would be sending this phone back without a doubt. They need to come out with more cases that hold the S Pen. Hopefully in the Fold 4, we get an S Pen that goes into the phone and all they have to do is extend the screen out a little bit more, stick this pen right up under the screen, maybe make it a little bit thinner, and you got yourself a winner. There's no need for the screen to be this skinny. It doesn't serve a purpose other than to maybe look at a quick notification. It's not functional, and I can't use my S Pen on the front screen, but everybody knows that already. So that's my quick update on this phone. If you guys have any questions, I guess please put them down below, and I guess I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.